Today we're taking a look at the new Homura figure from Good Smile Company. This is a part of the new set that was started back in 2014 with their second Madoka figure, which I do have, and I'll do a comparison next to this figure later on. That's a great figure. I also have the full set of the old Madoka figures minus the old Madoka. Starting off with the box, you can see it maintains the same design that the Madoka figure did, except it's a little bit smaller than I've come to expect from the Madoka Good Smile figures, which generally had really big boxes that made no sense for how small the figures were, and finally they've come to their senses and made a very compact box, and I actually really like that. Now this figure, I was immediately drawn to it from kind of the facial expression and the hair and the leaning forward. It's a very lackadaisical, kind of airheaded look. I've seen people say she looks like an idiot. I kind of like that about it. And seeing it in person, it does look good and it does convey that kind of stupid-faced expression. But the leaning thing, it looks absurd in real life. Like, the lean is very, very severe, and they've accomplished this in the same way that they have with the Madoka figure, where they have a little metal thing coming out of it and you slot it into there. Now, the only issue is, the Madoka figure, she had a nice little spiral that kind of masked the metal. It made it look like she was, like, floating with air. The Homura figure does not have that. There's just a little awkward metal thing sticking out. I don't know why they cheaped out on this, especially considering that the Madoka had one. I'm not happy about that, and I saw it in the pictures, and I assumed that it would just be like the Madoka one, where that was the prototype, and the real one would have something masking it, but it doesn't. So here's a comparison between the original Homura and the new Homura. The original Homura, I wasn't a huge fan of. It was one of my least favorite of the original set. The only one I disliked more than that was the original Madoka. Now, putting them side by side, I do think that the new Homura looks better, but it's kind of freakish. The faces are almost identical, just with different expressions. But there are some weird minor differences. The original Homura, her leggings are kind of like shiny, and the little triangle things on them are like a very bright, vivid color, more accurate to the show. With the new figure, the leggings are a more matte finish, and the triangles are a more muted, darker color, where it doesn't pop out as much. And you can see here the difference between the sculpt of the hair. The hair on the original, I thought, looked fucking awful. The hair on the new one is, like, ridiculous. It's like this crazy waving thing. It looks very nice. Now, by herself, I'm actually kind of disappointed with the new Homura. The lean thing looks ridiculous, and she looks kind of silly on her own, I have to admit. Now, we can see her here in the context of the full set, minus the original Madoka. I've got the newer Madoka, the nicer Madoka. She looks good in the context of the set. I think she looks better than the original one in the context of the set. Of course, they're going to replace Sayaka, Kyoko, and Mami. They're going to make new versions of them. The only one that we haven't seen yet, I think, is the Kyoko. I'm not necessarily going to be that excited to replace the other figures. I think the set, as I have it shown here, looks really good. The only one that I would change after this is the Kyoko. I could see myself maybe getting the new Kyoko. But you can see here, this looks fucking great as a set. And I can only recommend this figure to you as a set.